Hey, it's JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel, honey. Listen, I want us to talk about Housewives real quick. Yes, Housewives of Atlanta coming to you guys with more. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure that you guys are coming into the video. Come in, like, a comment, subscribe, and share the video as well. Listen, I want us to touch on, we got to get into a sneak peek from last night's episode. If you over there on Patreon, meet me over there in just a second because, okay, we'll be getting into some things. But aside from that, okay, I want us to talk about a sneak peek. We'll get into that. But y'all know Porsha Williams got this divorce from Simon Guobadia. Now, a lot of people are learning more about the details regarding their divorce. Lakeisha Keisha has provided everybody with details as far as, some of the court video and stuff. She did get special permission, and one of the things that people captured was Portia's salary from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Dish Nation coupled up. Now, granted, we don't know what she made exactly from Real Housewives, but with the two jobs that she had, and maybe even other things that she had, um, there was a large amount. Okay, I do believe that the alleged amount is between 1.6 and $2 million or something, but I don't know if that's all from Housewives. I don't know if that's from Housewives and Dish Nation, and I also don't know if that's from Housewives, Dish Nation, as well as Pampered by Porsha, Go Naked, and other things, because she does have a lot of businesses, right? But when you listen to the audio, it does sound like the attorney specifically highlighted Real Housewives of Atlanta and Dish Nation. Okay, not sure. However, she was bringing in a great bit of money. Okay, at that particular time, and it was stated that when she got with Simon, Simon was paying Porsha about $30,000 once they started to be girlfriend and boyfriend. And then once they got married, it upgraded to about, $40,000 a month, which is why he's having to continue to pay that, in addition to that being a part of the prenup. So I can't really feel bad for Simon, because it's like, that's what you signed off for. You should have did a better job. You don't create a prenup for when you're still happy in love, like the person, whatever. You created for, how am I likely gonna feel? Right? If you pissed off, you feel away, or what? Like, I feel like the prenup should not be. I think the prenup should definitely be fair. That's number one. I think it should definitely be fair. But also, you got to think about, am I going to be okay with giving this person these items if we are not together potentially? Right? So some part of me is like, make the prenup not so great. But if you guys end up separating and you are on in a better place, and that person wants to request something more that's not within the prenup, and you want to give it to them, then give it to them. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I can't feel bad for the man. That's what it is. Y'all spent all that time working on the prenup, and it was what it was, right? So with these details of what Porsha made, a lot of the fans have had things to say. A lot of the fans have had things to say. They cannot believe that Porsha stopped working her jobs just to be a girlfriend to Simon Guobadia and only receive $30,000 a month. I don't even think that's $500,000 by the end of the year. And a lot of people are upset about it. Not really upset, but more so surprised by it. Okay. I just want to hop over and check out some of the comments of what people were saying. Somebody said she walked away from 1.6 million. Porsha, don't aggravate me. Okay. Somebody else says, Porsha walked away from 1.6 to 2 million a year for this dude. Okay, somebody says, let me help the ignorant as people saying Porsha left 1.6 million for Simon. The money Porsha got from him is tax free. Feds take 37% of 1.6 million since she's self-employed. FICA 15%, then 6% state tax, then 15% to her management team. That leaves Porsha with about $46,000 after all of that. All right. So that's what one of her stands said. Okay. Somebody else says, imagine giving up a 7-figure salary plus a Dish Nation salary just to marry a con man to get $30,000 a month. Damn, she dumb as hell. Okay. That's what somebody said. Now listen now. Keep in mind, all right, I will say this. I understand both sides of it, okay? I understand the fans being, a bit appalled by the actions of Porsha. And then I understand the people wanting to take up for her as well. What I will say is Porsha was trying to enter a soft life era just a little piece. And maybe that came with taking a bit of a pay cut. right? Because all of her bills and everything was going to be taken care of. Of course, she was going to have to put in that work on the television show. Okay, getting up in the mornings, going over there to Dish Nation, doing what she got to do. So she probably saw, like, I'll give that up in the effort to kick my feet up, lay back, travel. All my expenses will be paid. I don't have to take that out of, my $1 million salary. I don't have to pay this, rent or whatever the case, or this mortgage over here. Thanks, babe. At this other location, at the new house or whatever, he's gonna take care of that, and I can just continue to manage the bills that I have. Where her mom or whoever else is staying at her old house, right? So I mean, maybe she was thinking about she was gonna get a soft life of some fashion, and she was going to retire that way, and maybe it was supposed to increase after so many years from the 40,000. Like when they first got married, right? It went from 30 to 40. Maybe so many years in, it was going to increase to 50. I don't know what the logic was for Porsha, but I would want to think that she thought she was going to get a softer life, right? And maybe she felt like for the softer life she was going to get, maybe that money made sense. She also talks about how they were supposed to be like working on a business together that was going to be out there in Dubai, but I think there was some things that was happening with the paperwork and stuff, and he wasn't really putting her in the black or white. He was more so keeping her in the gray area, so things just seemed a little confusing, sketchy for her. So she decided to kind of like opt out of that. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. Simon was definitely playing in her face. Definitely playing in her face. That's why I say, if she didn't want to be married to that man anymore, girl, yes, get a divorce. If it's not looking how you thought it was gonna be. But at the same time, it is kind of hard to feel like completely bad when you did marry this man in a short amount of time. Didn't really give him the amount of time that was needed to really get to know your daughter, unless you know that's a separate thing. Because a lot of us already felt like y'all was dealing with each other anyway, months before. However, we gonna go off of the logic that y'all want us to believe, right? Y'all met each other, got married after a few weeks. Like, it's kind of hard to feel sorry that you try to force this man onto your family, onto your baby daddy, for everybody to like him. Whole time he's scamming. But she was really just worried about the optics and how it looked to social media. At least that's what it appears to be. Love wins. Okay? But, she ain't the only one. A few of y'all be out there doing that, child. But anyway, that's what Miss Porsha has going on, and a lot of the supporters of the show have been so confused. Somebody says, ain't no way Bravo still paying Porsha $1 million to walk out of every scene and barely engaged this season. I wouldn't be surprised if she took a little bit of a pay cut. I wouldn't be surprised. It may not have been that large of a pay cut, but it may have been a little piece, possibly. Or maybe the network felt away because maybe they did give her that same salary with the expectations that they were going to get her and Simon, right? Only for her to turn around a week or two later and say, hey, I'm getting a divorce, right? So I don't know. I mean, maybe the network did give her that. Maybe the network is a little pissed that they gave her that and they didn't get what they were expecting to get out of the deal. So I don't know what's going on, but that's what's happening. All right, y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. Now, it was also stated that Porsha paid for his child support, and she said that she did that because the mother of his kids was kind of worried that she wasn't going to get her portion, so Porsha stepped in and she did pay that. Now, that was something that Porsha did. She was aware about. She was aware about the amount that she paid as well. But when a lot of the other questions came up and stuff, Porsha was like, I don't know. I have to ask my accountant. Like, one of the questions was about whether she had an approval letter for this home. And she said, yeah. And they said, how much? She said, I don't know. I got to ask my accountant. A lot of it was, I have to ask my accountant, but I think she knew the answer. She just didn't want that information released in court. When they asked her about, whether she was going to refinance the house, she said not yet, but that is something she plans on doing. They asked her if she owned her other home, and she said yes, but not for long, because in order for me to get, to refinance this home, I have to sell the other one. That means to me that she don't have it. Okay, so I know a lot of people was like, Porsha got it. I'm not saying Porsha broke. I think Porsha definitely got coin. Don't get it twisted now. Definitely think Porsha has money. Whether she has the space to afford the $7 million, like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't even think she should even try to own that house, girl. I would just sell this, okay? But if it works out for her, do what you do. because they really ain't no houses out here getting any cheaper for real, for real. And they're giving you less, but want to charge you more. So I don't know. Whatever works for her, work it out. But the fact that you have to sell one home in order to qualify for a refinance somewhere else is definitely giving you have too much debt in comparison to the income that you're bringing in. And it's giving risk just a bit to me. So that's why she has to sell that other house. But I don't really think she intends on selling that other house. For real, for real. Okay, she says not for long, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Um, but we'll see. Okay, but that's what's going on with Miss Porsha Williams. Hopefully, she can get everything figured out. I mean, she did win a great bit of things when it comes to that divorce, but they're saying that Simon is supposed to be appealing that. And in addition, I just don't see him really paying that, especially if he has no desire to return to America, and they can't enforce it in Nigeria unless she probably go over to Nigeria and actually file something against him over there using the documents that she has from the US. Then maybe they may consider it, right? But the US can't enforce him to pay or do anything over in Nigeria. They just can't. So that's why I'm like, I don't really see her getting anything, but I could see him kind of like appealing this, not abiding by the rules of the court, which I would think wouldn't be a good look for you to appeal something and you still not be abiding by the what the courts told you to do, which is take care of the house and stuff like that. I don't know how that's going to look when you're trying to submit an appeal. But I also see him trying to make her suffer. For sure. I definitely see him trying to make her suffer and not taking care of anything and forcing her. Since you were taking care of it, as you stated, I took care of it during this particular time, then he's probably going to be like, well, continue to take care of it because clearly you got it. Right? And once she sells that house and after the mortgage company gets whatever they're supposed to get and whatever the remaining balance is, if she can get anything over that amount that she sell it for, if he's not doing his part, she might be able to keep all that money versus having to split anything with him, considering the fact that he didn't follow through on the orders on what the judge already told him. But I just don't see it working out. And then they also mentioned something in the court hearing where Simon had already laid off a lot of his employees prior to that new year starting. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but he had already laid off a lot of people. So I feel like that kind of told you what was happening with the company anyway. And also the company that he had here, Semico, I think he said I don't think he has that company anymore. He has businesses here. I thought Semico was like still a company that he was utilizing, but I think in the courts he tried to say that I think something happened with it or whatever. So we'll see. I know if he's not paying in America, he has assets. I do believe that they'll try and, snatch up those assets. I think Porsha would have to try and file something to get those assets and stuff in the effort to make him pay. But I just don't see her getting what it is that she wants. And she wanted the house. So she got the house in hopes of being able to sell the house for more than it's worth or more than what's owed to be able to get some type of money back. But if Simon is supposed to pay everything, it could potentially go into foreclosure. But Porsha is saying that she had the information on the home, so she went and made the payments on the home for the past 3 months, I think she said. So maybe she don't have to worry about the house going in foreclosure because these were details he wasn't trying to give her. So somehow she found the documents to find out who the mortgage company is and who she should have to pay. So um we'll have to see. Like that's just a tight situation to be in. I don't know whose idea it was to call ICE on Simon because now that he's out of the US and likely don't have no assets here or whatever, it's gonna be all on her. I did also see a lot of people in the comments talking about, oh, they're gonna seize his assets. Do y'all not know how this work? And this, that, and the other. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. He's gonna have to pay her. He gotta pay, because the court ordered it, you must pay. I'm like, girl, it's men out here not paying their child support. It's men out here not even paying spousal support. So that's why I'm willing to believe her. And these men live in America. So for this man to not even be in America, the chances are slim. But we definitely wish her the best, okay? So good luck to Porsha. Another thing I want us to get into is last night's episode. We're gonna check out the scene where I believe Britt and Kelly have a conversation. So let us go ahead and get into that.
The night started off a little woo, okay?
Yeah.
It was a lot of unpacking, and I think
Yeah.
even with that whole situation with Shamia, I think we all could relate. I was just sitting down here just trying to get my thoughts together.
Yeah.
I got a call with my attorney today. You know, I have to get ready for court this week, and as soon as I get back home, I have to prepare for this life-changing moment. I was a little overwhelmed with my week.
So I know.
So I have a call with my divorce attorney, and we have to go over custody matters and division of assets and property. So it gives me anxiety to just even talk to my attorney, especially being away.
I understand.
How do you feel about like last night?
Last night, I was just
Doing too much.
It was like mixed emotions because I felt some different energy. I think the part that was just kind of weird is it's like we've always been good, me and you. And so at dinner, we were talking about donations and all that. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
I definitely was hurt that Kelly sat there at dinner and let Shamia rip me a new one. It's unfortunate because I looked at Kelly like a sister. And it's a lot of passive-aggressive energy coming from Kelly and Shamia.
I don't want you to then, when we around the group, act like I'm a cheap bitch when I asked you multiple times, tell me what's a good amount. Is it really just about donating or is it about something else? Because for me,
it is. I think it's about donating. Let me tell you why. I think she just wanted you to show up a little bit more. Even at your event, it was like, I took my entire team and we all went and got, you know, plastic surgery.
I went and got me a BBL a couple of years ago. And when I first launched my agency in 2020, me and all my staff went to Miami. And for our birthdays, everybody got whatever they wanted.
I think for the group and even for myself, I just feel like you have a bigger purpose. And I want my friend to show up and really be in her purpose and set the example.
for me, it's not really that complicated. I love that you're so giving and welcoming and, you know, all those things. But sometimes it's okay for it to just be just Kelly. But I feel like you use your team sometimes, hair, security, makeup, as a shield.
There is something going on behind closed doors, which I just haven't brought it to the group. This isn't about donations. Sweetie, let's talk about why you're really mad at me.
I don't know. It's a little weird. She's talking about my entourage, but at the same time, she kind of like wants my entourage.
Right. I don't like a whole team around.
Oh, now, bitch, now. Britt hosted an entire meeting with my glam squad at her house behind my back.
Ooh. Kelly sat down and had a meeting with the team and said that she doesn't want them to work with me, although this was her idea.
I didn't mind extending my team until she could find one, but at the same time...
Like she extended the team for you to work with in that particular moment. So why would you sit up there and say, oh, I don't need an entourage, only for you to want an entourage? Huh?
It's like, damn, do you want my gynecologist too?
But that does seem like the underlying issue, not so much as just the donation, because it is part of it is the donation, but it's not just the donation. And also what it appears is when Kelly references the insurance company and I took everybody, not Kelly, when Kelly references the insurance company and Britt talks about how she took everybody to go get a BBL and all this and that, some of the ladies are thinking she may still have that insurance company, therefore she may still have that money. Little do they know, okay, according to some sources, allegedly, her license was suspended a long time ago, right? So, do you really have that company? It's not really seeming like that, which also seems like you may not have that same type of money, too, which is why she gave what she gave, but the other ladies seem to not know that portion. So that's why they were likely expecting more from her since you're living so much of a lavish lifestyle, right? So, it is the donation plus more. And I would say that may be a bit passive aggressive for Kelly to not really address it with Britt, but also at the same time, I will say, I feel like Kelly may think you're a little sensitive right now, right? She may feel like you're a little sensitive right now, so she don't really know how to take you just a little bit. Maybe.
It's not giving bestie.
You don't need all these layers all the time. Sometimes you can just show up just as you. That's how I need you to show up for Britt.
I'm
Share
down
it with me.
Girl, I know you're not talking about show up for Britt. When this the first time I'm really seeing y'all sit down and talk about the damn divorce, I don't recall you really showing up for her for real either. What you talking about?
Let me tell you
Instead
something.
of allowing it to be a lesson in front of the whole group. So if you're aware of something with Shamia while you're building this relationship with her, share that with your close friend, me.
Okay.
And that's that. And then it won't be nothing to talk about. And then we passed it.
Yeah, it's not happening because the way Shamia shows up for Kelly, you don't show up for Kelly. And that's why their friendship has gotten much closer. Either way, ladies, good luck. All right. That's all I got for you guys at this time. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jami, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, honey. Bye-bye.
Telling my priest to the choir, stand with my feet to the fire, give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Aegis. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim, putting shots up.